Chris Williams has grown his LinkedIn following to over 30,000 after building a very active and engaged network on LinkedIn. Chris took the decision to start offering help to other professionals to get results through his company, Proper LinkedIn Marketing. Chris, it's so good to have you on the show, mate. Let's get you in now. Hey, buddy, how are you doing?
Not too bad. How you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Thank you for joining us. What's it like for you at the moment? What's it like working from home and obviously trying to liaise with clients and stuff whilst you're in your own home setting?
It's not massively different, if I'm being brutally honest. So our team all work remotely anyway. So we've got an office in the central location, just outside of Tamworth, where I live. We've got guys over in Cambridge, Saffron Walden, and then we've got Megan, who floats between Birmingham and Tamworth. So we're all remote anyway. So it's not massive. The only struggle, I guess, is having little people around you while you're at home, poking you and prodding you when you're trying to be on camera and things like that. Thus me being locked in the kitchen at the moment.
Yes, I get that pain. I've got a nearly 2-year-old and she just won't stop poking me and prodding me. I actually went downstairs for 2 seconds just before the show started, and I had a princess dress on, I had a tiara, I had a wand, I had a bag over me. It's just impossible, isn't it? It's like
normal Monday for you then.
Oh, well, Tuesday usually, but no, it was quite cool. But yeah, no, I see what you're saying. There's actually a good podcast out there with Josh Widdicombe, and who's the other guy on it? Rob Beckett, talking about how they're managing being at home with 2-year-olds. It's brilliant. It's so funny. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about you, Chris, and your backstory, and about why LinkedIn became a crucial platform for you to use, because you have really built a community on there now, haven't you?
Yeah, for me, community is one of those buzzwords that's being bandied around at the moment. We've all got to have a community and that sort of thing. I think I prefer the term, dare I say it, tribes, because tribes, there's a slightly different loyalty in a tribe than there is a community. And I think with social platforms, online platforms, is community for me is a bit wishy-washy. I don't know. I don't really like the lots of the marketing terms that most traditional marketers use. So if it's going to be different, I will try and use a different term. But for me, it's been a weird journey to where I am now. Totally weird journey, to be brutally honest, because I had no idea that I was going to be doing this when I was a police officer back in 2005. So slightly weird journey to get to where I am now. I do apologize as that one child that I said that would possibly be making a noise has just entered the kitchen.
This is why we're loving live streaming at the moment. There's nothing better than being interrupted by a child, a dog, an unexpected delivery. I think that's the one that everyone's like sort of getting now, knock on the door.
That's the other thing, because I've got 2 Amazon deliveries due between 12 and 1. So apologies if that does happen as well as I'm closing the door.
It's all right. It's no problem at all. As you say there, very, very different start. Obviously, starting off as obviously a police officer. Now, obviously, you're doing a lot of work with clients on LinkedIn marketing, and obviously, you've got your own successful business as well. So, I suppose from your point of view, as someone who's sort of done something different and is now utilizing LinkedIn as a platform, for you, should businesses be spending a little bit more time on their brand on LinkedIn, or should they be spending more time on their personal profiles? For you, where do you stand on that argument?
Oh, there's no argument. There's only one solution, and that is, again, my humble opinion. But that is purely because of how LinkedIn and how we are as a society dealing with consumerism at the moment. Is the personal branding, so people, your personal accounts, things like that. That's what's getting eyeballs on LinkedIn, and that's purely because no one really gives a rat's ass about your company socially. And let's face it, that's what LinkedIn is. It's a social platform. It's no longer a B2B only corporate, just by the, I was going to say a word then that I can't use on live, but by people that have got their own very, very narrow, this is how business should be done. That it's disappeared. We're no longer part of a loyalty marketing genre of marketing anymore. It's not about loyalty. It's about personalization. It's about the individual. It's about the company allowing individuals to express themselves. When companies do that, when companies allow personal branding to happen within their brand. So yes, follow the company brand guidelines, absolutely, but allow your staff to be creative and write their own blogs, showcase their own skills, their own abilities. I'm not a massive fan of Branson, but one of his quotes was this about giving your staff treat your staff well enough that they or pay your staff well enough to keep them. And I can't remember what the saying is, but the idea is you treat your staff, give them the trust for them to do what they want, and they're not going to go and leave to the competitor as long as you treat them well. Someone who's watching this, put that comment in there because it's going to do my nut in that I can't remember his quote. But that idea of allowing your staff to be more personable, creative themselves, rather than following a very strict, specific, you have to follow by the guidelines of our brand. That's where you lose the personalization of a business. There we go. Train people well enough so they can leave. Treat them well enough so they don't want to. Give your staff the opportunities to be creative, to write their own blog, do their own videos, be active, be their own person online, as long as they respect the company ethics and obviously the morals and the policies of the company. Let them do it. Because, if you've got a team of 20 or 30 people all on LinkedIn, all doing their own thing, but with the branding on their logo, the logo and the branding on their profiles, in their experience, who they're working for, you've now got 20, 30 people that are now representing your business socially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm completely with you.
Most companies only do that by forcing policies.
100%. 100%. I was going to say off the back of that as well, Chris, we talk about building a brand, and you talk about also the exposure that your brand's going to get through the algorithm and through creating content on multiple personal profiles. But also for these individuals within your business, they can really build a brand for themselves as well. Like, they can build a positioning for themselves to become, I hate to say it, but sort of experts and influencers in their own field.
It's true. And I think that I'm very mindful of that particular line there is everybody becoming an expert. Because it's very easy online to put the fake banners up and show, oh look, I'm an expert in such and such. That's not a particularly great path to, but certainly if you've got staff within your environment or team members within your environment that have got their own skill, maybe they're artists, maybe they're writers, maybe they do music, maybe they're good at relationship building, let them utilize those skills digitally and socially under your brand, and you've got a much wider reach in terms of your capabilities as a brand. Your personal page will get 10 times the amount of views of your company page every single time, unless you start paying LinkedIn for sponsored content. And let's face it, their sponsored content process is a little bit dire, and it's nowhere near in comparison to the ROI that you can get on Facebook and things like that. So it's unless you've got 3, 4, 5 grand to throw at an ad campaign with a very specific target, you're not really going to get much from it.
I was going to say that quickly, Chris. Just highlighting on that, what would you say to someone who comes to you and goes, "Hey, I'm looking to do a LinkedIn ad"? I mean, we all get that within an agency. For us as well, we get, "Hey, I think I really want to do a PPC campaign, or I want to do SEO." That's a big one for digital marketing agencies. But for you, obviously, you specialize in LinkedIn marketing. So for those people who potentially have a small to medium business and they come to you and go, "I think I want to do a LinkedIn campaign." Where's your standpoint with the LinkedIn ad format, and where's your standpoint with the LinkedIn ad managers as well?
I've actually got an open email on my screen right now where I've got to reply to somebody who's asked, can I advise them on an ad campaign? So I'm going to do it now. Don't do it.
Let's do it live.
So it all depends on what they're looking to achieve on it. So whenever someone does ask me, I want to do an ad campaign, normally it's on the back of thinking, well, it's going to be similar to Facebook. And it's not, unfortunately. The time it takes LinkedIn to create the audience for you is, for me, it's far too long. You're talking 4 to 6 weeks sometimes, where for them to get a true understanding of the response rate of an audience that you've built. So therefore, all of that time you're spending money on them experimenting whether that ad should be placed in front of that demographic or not. So for me, unless you've got a significant chunk of cash to put in a pot and say, right, I don't care if that just gets burnt through, then LinkedIn isn't really, certainly the sponsored ads isn't going to be as effective as doing a normal content strategy, for example. Where I have found value with the process is doing in-mail campaigns. Now we've done some of these for some American clients and they had an incredibly niche target that they were trying to achieve, or they were trying to reach out to, and the audience size was less than 100. So that in-mail campaign was very, very successful. It cost them a significant amount of cash, but it was successful. So in-mail out of anything would be the better option. The best option would be just write bloody good content and grow and engage with your audience. And it takes a bit of time.
Yeah. As social media does anyway. Like LinkedIn is no
Absolutely.
different to that. It might be a business platform, but it all takes time and it takes hard work as well, you know. And definitely listen to the advice. And we've been lucky, Chris. We had Dan Kent Smith on, who runs a company called NextPlay, with some ex LinkedIn employees, and he's an ex LinkedIn employee himself. And he spread some wisdom, and he took part in a little like quickfire tip segment for us last week. I've got to admit, which we planned, and we haven't actually planned anything with you to do something similar. But what I thought would be great, Chris, is I've got a couple of just like quick fire questions. If I could throw them at you and get the most simple answer, in your opinion, that would be amazing, because there was a great reaction to that with Dan last Thursday. So I'll start with times to post. So have you seen any data or any information on the best times to potentially post?
I have, and if being brutally honest, all that data is crap. The best time to post is when your audience is active. So unless you don't know your audience, unless you don't know the demographics of where your audience sit, what the location they're in, then you're just peeing into the wind, so to speak. What I found locally, so wherever you are locally, and this is pre-COVID, so that's like a hashtag now, isn't it? Pre-COVID, is any time when it's just before or on during the commute tends to be a relatively decent time in the morning. In the afternoon, lunchtimes, just after lunchtimes, and in the evenings, sort of circa the commute again. They tend to be, again, very, very rough local times for you. But, you know, if you've got 50% of your audience over in the States and you're posting at 7 a.m. in the morning in the UK, you're missing 50% of your audience. So it's being mindful of where your audience sits.
On posting, how many times should I be posting a week? Is there a preference?
There is, in terms of wanting to be consistent. What the method that I teach everyone that I mentor and the companies I work for is a minimum of once a day. Now, that doesn't mean you have to write War and Peace once a day. It doesn't mean that you have to do a 20-minute video once a day. What it means is that you need to be showing up daily. If you can't post daily, make sure you're spending a significant amount of time engaging with your audience in replace of that posting. You should be engaging on a daily basis anyway, because that's what's going to drive the most profile views and the most people to see your content when you do post it.
Yeah. And what about the best content for engagement? So is there a trend? Do videos actually work better than text posts? Do pictures work better than text posts? How does LinkedIn sort of conjure all this up in the algorithm to get your best exposure?
Yeah, all depends which way the wind's blowing with LinkedIn, unfortunately. But what we've found is that the highest engagement rate that you get is through video. And the reason being is when you compare a video view to a post view. So a post view is that post has been featured on somebody's feed. It doesn't mean that they've stopped scrolling to look at it. It doesn't mean that they've taken any time to consume any of the information you have written. So, you know, 20, 30, my average views is something like 20,000 views per post at the moment. Whoop-de-doo. I'm more interested in the engagement that generates, so the comments and the reactions and the shares. A video view, on the other hand, the video has to have been stopped and played for a minimum of 3 seconds on more than 50% of the screen for it to count as a view. So although video views tend to be a lot less than post views when you produce this content, it's the engagement is actually more accurate from video view. So you might have 3,000 video views. You know, 3,000 people have seen, or it has played a minimum of 3 seconds of that video for that to count as a tick in the box. So for that, and just looking at analytics on a daily basis, as we do in our clients, video engagement rate is always higher than post engagement rate.
But as you said, obviously no pressure on anyone out there to make a video for every day of the week, because that is obviously overblast of content. Then, you know, share opinions, do something different, write a LinkedIn article, you know, all these things will work. And one final one, Chris, because Dan Kent Smith didn't sit on the fence with this one, and I'll be interested to see how quick you are with an answer to this. LinkedIn groups, scrap them or use them?
Scrap them, the shit. There's absolutely no value to them whatsoever as they stand at the moment. And I was part of an outreach from LinkedIn to discuss what we could do to improve groups about 2 years ago. And a lot of the information that was given to LinkedIn, I don't think was taken on board, because nothing really has happened. My fear is what LinkedIn are going to do is try and do a pay-to-play version of groups. Right. Where you can create it. So I think that's potentially where they may be going. I've never worked for LinkedIn. It's just where my brain would take things that have got that capability. The thing with LinkedIn is they've got so much data. They've got so much information on everything that we do, the actions and that sort of stuff. And we only see a very small amount. They only release a very small amount. So there's a whole heap of things that they could be doing to improve things, groups being probably the best. There's only one feature that I use groups for, and that's when I've got a private group for a LinkedIn training session, something like that. I put them in a group because I can post content relevant to that particular training session. So company groups, that would be a good way to use it. If you've got a company, right, put them all in LinkedIn groups so you've got the information and make them private, so it's only visible for your company. Other than that, yeah, they're naff.
Makes sense, to be
naff.
fair.
There's a 90s word. There you go.
Naff, yeah, love it. Chris, thank you so much for coming on. We could talk to you loads more, but we have run out of time, unfortunately. Hopefully we can get you on again soon. Where obviously I take it the best place for people to find you is LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, yep. Slide into my DMs, not in the creepy dick pic style though, please. Just the normal, you know. Hi Chris, how you doing? That'd be good.
Yeah, that kind of style. Chris Williams, thank you so much for coming on the show, buddy. Take care and stay healthy, stay safe.
No bother. Nice one. Cheers, both.
Thank you. Bye, Chris.